Hi, everybody. It's Steve Smith, the editor of PHC News Magazine, and today I'm talking to Troy Locke. Troy is the manager of technical training and technical support at Viega. Troy, how are you today?
I'm good, Steve. How are you?
Good. Well, listen, we're talking today. Viga's got a couple of new tools, the Pressgun 6 and the Pressgun 6 Pico. So why don't we just get right into it? And, I'm just kind of curious. I haven't had a chance to see it myself other than what I can see on my computer screen. And, Troy, you and I are kind of stuck in the theater of the mind here. Could we describe this a little bit best as we can? Appeal to our senses here? Does it, how much does it weigh? How does it feel? I mean, good things like that, the basics.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, because we got to paint this picture here, just for those that have been familiar with press technology and maybe have even dabbled in it or own their own tools right now, these two tools, Pressgun 6 and Pressgun Pico, one's a standard, one's a compact, but they're both inline tools. So what I mean by that, they're not pistol grip tools. So it's not like a drill, right? So these are inline tools. They're lightweight. They're roughly, depending on which one you have, it's going to be about 5.5 to 7.5 pounds. So we wanted to make sure that it was, lightweight, ergonomical, right? So the cylinder head where the jaw goes into, that rotates 270 degrees. The body of it, for those that are familiar with press technology, it basically stems from the rigid RP 200 that they had recently. And obviously they keep coming out with new models. It's like trucks on the market, right? That was coming out with a new model every year. So this was kind of based off the RP 200 inline tool.
Okay. Now, the big claim to fame for the Pressgun 6 and Pressgun 6 Pico are that they are less expensive. So could we get into that a little bit more? I mean, how much less expensive and what are we trading off here to save some money?
Yeah, I like to call it a cost efficient or effective tool, right? Because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, press technology, when you're investing in tooling, I mean, it's not something that is like buying an adjustable wrench. This is definitely an investment, but still, when you look at it, it is the lowest overall installed cost. So, but with this tool, with the Pressgun 6 and the Pressgun 6 Pico, we wanted to provide a cost-effective option where it's what I consider a no-frills machine. So no
Mhm.
frills and thrills, no fluff. It is
Mhm.
focused on pressing quality. We wanted to make sure that okay, we can get rid of some of the features of here's this flashlight option or here's this option, different things like that. Strip away. I like to call it a workhorse tool.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? That's really what we're focusing on here. So by kind of stripping away some of those frills, you can make it more cost effective. But really, at the end of the day, it's all about the quality of the press and making sure that the fitting, assembly, and everything is 100% consistent and reliable.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit more about the performance of each of these? I mean, I know the Pico is a little less powerful than the Pressgun 6, but how should we think about these things?
Yeah, when somebody's looking to get into press technology, looking to get into press, and what options do you want? And
Mhm.
meaning we offer various options from copper tube size press technology to iron pipe size press technology, our Pro Press, our Mega Press, and we offer size ranges from half all the way to 4 inch.
Mhm.
So depending on your shop, depending on the business that you're in, that's really the tooling you're going to look at. So when you look at a Press Gun 6, that tool is what we would classify as our standard tool, and that's going to give you more force. That's going to do 32 kilonewtons or 7,200 foot-pounds of force. So that's going to allow you to press your half all the way to 4 inch
Mhm.
copper Pro Press, and you're
Okay.
going to be able to press half to 2 inch Mega Press with the Press Gun
Okay.
6.
Okay.
And then when you look at the Press Gun 6 Pico, that's a
Mhm.
compact tool. So
Mhm.
less ram force just means that it's just pressing smaller sizes. So you're going to do half to inch and a quarter Pro Press copper. You're going to be able to do half and 3/4 on your Mega Press.
Mhm.
And then of course we have our PEX press, so both can do PEX press. And like the Press Gun 6 will do up to our 2 inch PEX press, which is our largest sizes in PEX press. And then you can do up to inch and a half with the Pico. So really it's looking at what size material do you utilize in the field? What kind of jobs do you go after? And that would be the decision you make on which tool you want.
These things are very important when it comes down to the battery. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, the batteries are
Mhm.
really nice. You're going to be able to, they're 2.5 amp batteries, 18 volt. batteries. And what that means to the end user is you're basically going to get 25% more presses per charge on this battery platform. So it's a great battery platform compared to some of the others that are on the market.
And I'm just looking at the press material. I never really thought too much about this before I saw this, but you can charge this off a vehicle lighter.
Yes.
But,
Yeah. Great.
Both of them, the 6 and the Pico and the 6 Pico.
Yep, and it comes right in the case with it. So the tool itself, when you get the Pressgun 6 or the Pico, both charging cords are in the box in the case, which is great because you're right. You're out there on the job site, you're in your work van, your work truck. You need to charge a battery, and maybe you don't have power because it's a brand new site. You're doing underground or something like that. I can charge these batteries now right with a cigarette lighter. So great feature.
I assume that takes a little longer than the traditional way of charging these things up. But if you have to, you have to.
Yeah, it's actually not that bad, but you're right. I mean, depending on what it is, but usually, I mean, even trucks nowadays, I mean, the new Fords and everything, they even have 120 or 110, 115, plug in. So at the end of the day, but it's still a great feature for that because I know a lot of times, you just don't have power out there on the job site. So, and if you're using battery powered tools, which not just press, but all your other, battery powered tools, that's a great feature.
And, the big claim to fame from the sound of this is that these two guns are less expensive, but is that what's holding contractors back? Do you think? The fittings are one thing, the tool's another. Is it the fact that the tool? Here comes a tool with a smaller price tag. Is that really going to help the person that's kind of hemming and hawing about this get into the press kit market?
For Viega, I mean, this by having our own branded tools here in North America, which we have done, since the launch of press technology over in Germany. When Germany launched press technology in 1989, they had a Viega branded tool with Viega fittings hand in hand, full system solution approach. And that's what we're trying to do. And to have the ability to provide tools to kind of maybe break down that barrier that an installer might have when it comes to maybe tooling, like, I don't know which one to get, or that's a big price tag. And again, for me, it's slightly more cost effective, but for Viega at least, this gives us the power to maybe do some promotions, maybe do some giveaways. We actually just donated 10 press tools, Pressgun 6 Viega press tools down in Texas for a relief effort. And because they're branded tools, we're able to do that where before, they're not our tools, they're not in our catalog, they're not in our distribution center. So we would have to then say, hey, other tooling companies, and you're going to have that talk with them, where now you just come to Viega for your kind of one-stop shop.
Yes, exactly. One-stop shop. That's the key, I think, to this, because obviously you guys are been making fittings. You were the pioneer in fittings in the European market, particularly. But you relied on, in this case, Rigid to make the tool. The relationship is still with Rigid. Rigid is making this, but because it's branded a Viega tool, you can control the distribution a little bit better. Is that right?
That is correct. Right. We're still
tool and the fitting, the whole system, essentially.
Absolutely, the whole system. Because you're right, we still have our partnership with Rigid. Right, we have a great relationship with them. So this is a Rigid tool. They're manufacturing this for us, and that's the thing. And I think a lot of folks maybe don't realize that Viega, we are actually tooling experts. I mean, because you just said it. You can't put our fittings together without a press tool. Right. So over in Germany, when they launched together, right, they were Von Arx and Viega. It was the tooling and the fittings hand in hand. Viega actually, designed the jaws, helped design the tooling, make sure it worked exclusively for Viega fittings. And that's where they went into market. And so Viega has a lot of expertise in tooling. But when we came to North America, in order to kind of, like you said, penetrate the market, break down these barriers and bring a new technology, something brand new to a new world, somebody's gonna be like, who are you guys, right? Who's Von Arx, who's Viega? So we partner with Rigid, who is a well-known, well-established tooling manufacturer in North America. So they're manufacturing our tools for us, and they currently have their own brand tools, many models and brands out there already on the market. So, this again is just adding another option for our end users.
I'm curious about the tools, the new the 6 and the 6 Pico. Is there something they can't do? I know that the Pico can't be used with the MegaPress XL press booster and the Z3 actuator. Is there anything else that perhaps you're giving up, I guess?
With the current tools that we're offering, the Pressgun 6 and the Pressgun 6 Pico, neither one of those can actually be used with the booster.
Right.
So you're not going to be able to do the large bore mega press 2.5, 3, and 4 inch fittings with these tools because the booster's not going to go on the tooling platform. So in that case, we would look at, if I was a contractor getting into large bore fittings for steel, for pipe, then that's when I would want to maybe look at, another tooling platform. But for the majority of those out there in the press market right now, this is doing the majority of the fittings that are being sold. And honestly, the most common press fitting sold in the market today is a 3/4 inch copper press system.
Okay.
That is the most popular fittings on the market, the most sold, because think about the size of piping that's in a building, whether it's commercial, residential. 3/4 is a very common size that's in those buildings. So yeah, but I think eventually too, I mean, as we start getting into the tooling, you'll see maybe other options in the future. But for now, this is again just introducing Viega as having, both options, not just fittings, but tooling to get you started, get you going. You mentioned, breaking down those barriers. And I think with pricing, that is the biggest hang up for contractors, to circle back to that, because you see a price tag up front, you get that sticker shock. Where, I'm a licensed mechanical contractor myself, master plumber, gas fitter, all that. And when I look at it, I already have, my soldering equipment. I have my B tank. I got all my torch tips. I got all that already. So that's something that I already invested in. So you might forget about that as you move forward. And what you do with those joining technologies like soldering is you're just buying the consumables. You're kind of nickel and diming. So the sticker shock sometimes isn't always there. And now you're having somebody come on and say, hey, listen, why do you want to try this? Well, I do want to try it, but the tool is a few $1,000s. And that upfront investment or sticker shock is definitely something that stops somebody at first. But it's all about the conversation. And what I try to, get the business owners to do, or somebody that's going to make those purchasing decisions, sit down and crunch the numbers. Because whether you use, Rigid or Viega press tool, whether you use Milwaukee, DeWalt, Hilti, those are kind of the major press tool brands in the market right now. If you look at their tooling costs and what they're giving you in their packages, take that number and break it down per press. And if the tool can do 32,000 presses, 42,000 presses, 50,000 presses, whatever it can do, you take that and divide it by the cost of the tool, and you can actually get a fixed number of what it's going to cost you per press. And it is pennies. It's like, if you get the biggest tool, let's say you get our Pressgun 6, or let's say you get Rigid's RP 350, and you take how many presses they can do and divide it out. I mean, it's kind of cost you anywhere from, 7 to 9 cents per press on the size range of 1/2 to 2-inch Pro Press copper. And that's awesome, because I can't even solder a joint for that per solder joint. You're looking at 23, 25 cents or more per solder joint, right? So honestly, it is overall the most cost-effective joining method, but it's that upfront kind of sticker shock. So if Viega can introduce our own tools, maybe do some promotions and do some giveaways and really control the distribution of the tooling, break that barrier down and get people pressing. Because I'm telling you, once you start pressing, you're going to want to buy 10 more tools. I mean, it just...
yeah, the whole way to control it is key from the sound of it in North America.
Yes.
Now, I'm kind of curious, before we hit record here, obviously in Europe, you were saying, it's essentially all press. And in North America, it's still quite a big market to tackle, to take over, I guess. Now, Europe isn't America, but what's holding back contractors? We talked about the price tag of the upfront price of the tool. Maybe we got a little answer here with that, but other than tradition and codes, I suppose, in some parts of the country, what's stopping North American contractors from being like their European colleagues and going all press?
Well, I'm sure, people have heard this before, and I mean, I believe in it. I mean, I think, if you look at Germany and other, European countries, that they are ahead of us in certain technologies and certain advancements. And that's, that's great. If they can pioneer stuff and we can adopt it, but you said it, the codes and standards over in North America, you have to make sure codes and standards are created to protect people. right? And that's why, as a licensed contractor myself, I believe in those codes and standards. So Viega has done a lot of work
Mhm.
to get standards developed for
Mhm.
press technology, to get the language changed in code books, to make sure it's
Mhm.
adopted, approved for certain applications and industries. So it is a lot of work to actually grow the market here. So it's not just getting people to buy a fitting. That's not what it is. If it's not approved in code, yeah, you might be able to buy it and you might be willing to buy it, but if it's not approved, you can't put it in. So
Mhm.
there's more than just bring a product on the market and saying, here you go. It's all about testing. It's all about making sure the performance is there. It's making sure the language and the code is adopted. It's making sure engineers are comfortable with the technology and specifying it in their buildings. So there's a lot more that goes into it than just here's a tool, here's a fitting. So I think that's why it's been slowly adopted. Obviously when we came over here in 1999, 0% market share, and since then, obviously we've been growing, but there's still a huge amount. I just throw rough numbers out. I mean, our analytics specialists, they know details for sure, but for me, I'm like, hey, listen, the market is still like 80% traditional.
Really?
It really is. Yeah, it's still the majority of the market is still sweating, brazing, threading, that
Uh-huh.
kind of stuff,
Uh-huh.
welding. And you said it over in Germany. No, it's the opposite. It's like 90% of pressing. So and the majority of the people overseas are already pressing. They love it. It's awesome. They believe in it. It's in their
Yeah.
codes. It's in their standards. It's their
Yeah.
engineers are specifying it. We just got to get them to adopt it more here and get comfortable with it. So by providing them options,
Yes.
providing them the tooling, providing them the education and training,
Mhm.
providing them, everything they need to feel comfortable with it. That's the goal. That's the approach.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, that's a good segue here with training because we wanted to talk about that as well. Now, again, we're still, you and I talked last summer, I guess it was. Obviously, COVID was somewhat newer, I suppose. Last year around this time is when we kind of shut down, began to shut down things a year or so ago.
Yeah.
I think last time I was on an airplane was March 5th. I flew to Nashville. So that was a year ago last week, I guess, if I marked my anniversary correctly. So here we are still stuck in it, though. And now we talked last year about, the fact that, people couldn't come to your places in New Hampshire or Colorado for training, let alone go to a trade show and see these things firsthand at your booth. So what's going on now? What do you see? What do you hear in terms of maybe having perhaps in-person training at your New Hampshire and Colorado training facilities?
Yeah, we are chomping. We are eager. We want to, that's for sure. Like you said, I mean, I'm looking at the calendar right now. It's March 8th, 2021. My last time in the seminar center for training was pretty much this week. My last day last
Mm-hmm.
year in the
Mm-hmm.
seminar center was March 13th. It was a Friday, right? Friday the 13th, kind of weird. But last time in the seminar center before the whole country shut down, right? And, then it was, okay, how do we bring, we've talked about this, but how do you bring your in-person training online now, which is the biggest thing? And that's what we focused on heavily right there in the beginning. Then in the
Mm-hmm.
summer, of 2020, towards the end of summer, we actually, per CDC guidelines and redoing our buildings for safety, we did bring customers back in, end of August to early October, but then numbers and things weren't trending the right way. So in order to protect our customers, protect our colleagues, we decided to shut back down again. And right now, it's the same thing. It's all about looking at the numbers and just keeping everybody safe. I know everybody wants to come back, and so do we. I would love to say that we'd be opening up this year, but if I'm being real, I would say I like to call it we're going to have a brand new 2022, right? With everything that's going on with vaccines and the numbers are trending down now. I think 2022 is the year of back to normal, so to speak.
Sounds like forever to say 2022, but
It does.
it's not that far, and we're still in the thick of things, and things are progressing. I mean, there is some pretty good numbers in terms of vaccinations, and there's more vaccines, I guess, coming on the market. The Johnson and Johnson thing that came on the market a couple weeks ago, one shot, much easier
Yep.
to transport than these others I've heard about. But for me, I'm signed up at as many places I can sign up at, and I'm just kind of wait and see. I guess I don't know when I'll be able to do this, but I'll be there. I'll be there when I can.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, if these numbers keep going down and more
Yeah.
people get vaccinated and travel restrictions are easier or whatever, or lifted, let's call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I maybe we could speed up the process and get people in by fall. I mean, that'd be exciting. And I know we
Yeah.
got contractors asking all the time. I
Right.
want to go back to Viega. I want to learn more. Your seminar centers are exciting. We do hands-on in the trenches and the workshops,
Mhm.
both in New Hampshire and Colorado. It's a great experience for our customers. So
Yeah.
yes, we are eager to open back up when we can safely. And the virtual stuff's not going to go away. We'll be doing both, I think,
Yeah.
forever, to be honest with you.
Is there anything new and exciting to talk about for virtual training that you have planned
So,
this year that maybe didn't have last year?
well, we took away kind of all the generic open to all webinars, no more PowerPoints. We are doing all dedicated virtual trainings and
Mhm.
virtual team trainings with our sales colleagues. It's actually
Mhm.
been going great. I mean, I got two of my trainers in New Hampshire and we got three in Colorado. I mean, they're busy every day with, four or more, 4 to 10 probably virtual trainings dedicated to our customers. So that's what's great. It's all dedicated. So you're not going to actually find anything online. You're not going to be able to sign up and say, hey, oh, I'm going to go to this training. No, get with your local Viega district manager, and we want to do a customized training exclusively for you on what
Mhm.
your needs are. And we've been successful doing that this year, and even last year towards the end of the year. It's been great. So we're excited. We're set up. I'm actually in my home studio right now. My trainers have a home studio. We got our pipe vices, our press tools, all of our fittings and pipe, so we can do live virtual trainings on the spot for our customers, and it's been great. So that's what we're going to do all the way. Like I said, we're going to do this forever. But obviously, when we get back to the seminar center, we'll start opening up the in-person trainings as well. So we'll have both options and be able to, support customers that maybe can't make it to a seminar center but need our help or want our training on it because, like I said, we are the, install specialist, the application specialist. We're the ones that know the tooling, know the fittings, and know everything so about this technology. So it's great that we have the opportunity to maybe cast our net further and reach people that maybe never would have come to a seminar center to begin with because they just can't make it out of the field. I mean, this is a busy industry. It still was busy when COVID shut down. Maybe some big commercial projects got shut down, but service went up, right? So this industry doesn't stop. That's what's great about this industry is if you're in the trades, you're always going to have a job. So everybody's busy.
My readers and your customers are essential workers for a very good reason, and you can't live without plumbing and heating, as
No.
we found out certainly in Texas. I just want to circle back on that. Do you know any more about? You mentioned that you guys had donated 10 of these new press tools down to Texas. Do you know where they went? What any more details about that? I'm kind of curious more than anything else at this point.
Honestly, I'm actually more curious myself of where they went. I just knew we donated. I thought that was great. I personally wasn't involved, but just think about, what happened down there, and
Mhm.
people without water, they're without essential piping systems in their home to
Right,
to
right,
basically
right.
kind of exist. And if you can get those systems back up and running quicker, how are you going to do that? And honestly,
Mhm.
press technology helps with those repairs of the piping systems, putting in water heaters, putting in heating systems, whatever they need. You're able to do that faster. I mean, you watch the news and these plumbing shops down there just couldn't keep up. They really couldn't. So how can I be more efficient? How can I be more effective out in the field to do more volume of work
Mhm.
to get people up and running quicker? And press technology is the key. So by donating these tools, you're now providing that possibility of getting people into their homes quicker. It's safer, no flame, things like that. So I mean, it's great. Yeah, I'd love to. Honestly, Steve, I will get back with you. I'll get with marketing. We'll find out, and I'll get back with you on that.
Yeah, let me know because I was gonna when we get off the phone here, I was gonna call our friend Jim Sweeney, do this public relations for you guys and see what he's found out about that because we're in the process of writing about that. Of course, right now we're starting to work production for our April issue very soon this week. So I've got some calls in to some folks. In fact, I came to work today and got some photos from some folks that I contacted last week. So yeah, if you find out anything more, let me know, and I'll do some digging myself. But on that note, that's a good positive way to end it, I think. And I'm glad that we could talk today, and we'll go from
Yeah,
there. And hopefully, we'll see each other soon.
yeah. I hope when trade shows kick off again. Hopefully, we can see each other soon. And I'd just like to, give the listeners, if anybody is looking to convert to press, just get with your local district manager, because again, now that we have these tools on the market, now that we have different promotions going on, we want to make sure that we can, get you trying it out. So get in touch with us, and we're here to help you.
Will do. Thanks for the time today.
Thanks, Steve. You have a wonderful week.
Talk to you again. Bye-bye.